One of the great capabilities of these Land Rover LR3s are their massive towing capacity. We're gonna hook them up to our 16-foot enclosed trailer with a decent amount of weight in there and see how they perform both on-road and off-road towing. Before we hook up our trailer, we're gonna take a measurement of where our vehicle with the air suspension is sitting, and we're in the normal ride height mode. As a reminder, the Land Rover LR3 with the stock air suspension comes in 3 main modes. There's the access height, the normal ride height, and then the extended mode for off-roading. And there's a super extended mode, but more on that later. We're gonna take a measurement right from the center of the hub to the top of the fender well, and we're sitting exactly at 22 inches right now. So we're gonna hook up the trailer and see where we're at.
Stop, you're too high.
Too high. All right, so as our truck's sitting right now with the hitch configuration, it's a little bit too high. We don't have the luxury of an electric jack on our trailer. We have a manual jack. We want to be lazy today, so we're going to use the truck to our advantage. We're going to drop the truck down to the access height. Access height is used for entering your garage at home, entering to a parking garage out of town, or if you're vertically challenged and just want a little bit more help getting in. And with my back, I'll tell you, it helps out too. All right, so I'm gonna back it up.
All right, good to go.
Looking all right? So you can hear the compressor kicking in to start leveling the vehicle out. Now, if your LR3 isn't equipped with the stock 7-pin and 4-pin wiring system, we have another video where we detail how to install that wiring in the vehicle, as well as how to install the Kurt hitch that we have and the Rhino hitch that we have on our other LR3. Okay, now we're gonna bring the vehicle back up to normal ride height and see where the measurements are. There we go.
Yes. Oh.
Okay, now that we're back in normal height mode, we're gonna take a measurement and see where it's at after we've loaded the weight of the 3,500 pound trailer on there. And we are still dead at 22. Come down here and make sure you see I'm still at the hub. Center, yeah, you can see that? Center line of the hub, and then come back up. So we're still at 22. It hasn't changed whatsoever. The vehicle's able to compensate for any weight that we have on the trailer and brings it right back up. We're just gonna talk for a minute on the trailer that we're gonna tow. We have a 16-foot enclosed trailer. The trailer's on twin 3,500 pound axles, so that's a 7,000 pound rating for the trailer. We can see here that it says we have a max cargo weight of 5,130 pounds. So math in public, that puts us at, the trailer weighs 1,870 pounds. So we have an estimated 1,500 pounds of gear back here. We got 2 dirt bikes, a bunch of our expedition gear, and we have some water in our fill tank. All right, pulling out of our campsite. Now, the engine power is the same on both of these, but I can barely tell that we have it behind us. Ride quality in the cabin. Only going 10 miles an hour right now, but the ride quality is very comfortable. Not any more jarring than it normally would be on the bumps of going off-road. Going up over a crest here. All right, we're on the dirt forest road. Very comfortable ride, it feels stable, the load feels balanced. These air shocks are doing their thing. We're coming up a rise right now. And you know, as a side note, for whether it's coil or air, this vehicle does I mean, huge towing capacity. And the ability to seat 7 people, how much it can wheel off-road. We've been continually impressed with this. All right, we have a pretty good dip in the road right here. So that was an area where I almost expected the bottom of the hitch to possibly scrape or touch the ground. And I'm gonna get on some more aggressive terrain off-road here. Oh, this is aggressive. No issues whatsoever. All right, gonna make a nice tight turn. So this is a really nice feature with this vehicle. Again, whether it's air or coil, that you can carry a sizable travel trailer behind you and you know, really go boondocking for quite some time. Have an enclosed trailer, open trailer, all the toys, whatever you want. You got the towing capacity. You pick your poison. Pick up the speed a little bit more. So I'm near 25 miles an hour right now. Just hit that dip a lot faster. Handle it just fine. And we're up to 30 miles an hour on this unimproved road. LR3 air suspension is doing its work. So we've been driving for a while now on these unimproved roads. No issues whatsoever. It's towing it like a beast. Don't even know what's behind me. But the ride quality itself, very level, very stable, very controlled, measured. There's just no issues with it whatsoever. I'm not wanting for more stability. I don't feel it's sagging at all. I mean, you know, we saw it when it was leveled back out to the 22 inches as far as ride height. I believe the air suspension is continuing to do its thing and keep us at level ride height. Now we're on a pretty good washboard section of road. So if you can hear it by my voice or hear the truck, it's moving around a good bit, and there's a lot of rocks. All right, some bigger rocks up here. It's about, you know, about 6-8 inches. In case anybody's curious, this Land Rover 2008 with the air suspension has 183,337 miles on it. It came to us at about 160 something. I'd have to look it up in our records. So it's lived a pretty good life so far. I would venture to say from its previous life, from Junior, it was mainly a residential vehicle, you know, light off-roading at camping spots. Nothing like we've done with it since we've had it. We've been driving it, you know, across the country, all number of trails. We don't mess around. But just to give you an idea, and these are the stock air shocks on it. It still has the same lines that we've originally had on it. When I troubleshot the issues that we were having with it when it came to us donated, you know, on the bump stops, I opened up the valves, cleaned all the valves, still used all the same stuff. The center valve I wasn't happy with, and we did end up replacing that with an eBay valve. And the main thing that was wrong with this was the reservoir, which looked fine from underneath. It wasn't until we dropped it and we saw there was a layer of rust up on top, and we did a test on it, and you know, with soapy water, and you can see it wasn't holding a good seal. There was air that was leaking out from there. So those were the two things that we fixed on it. We did take apart the compressor and just cleaned it out, did some basic maintenance on it, and we've been up and running. All right, now we are transitioning from off-road onto the pavement. And we're going to do the pavement or highway section of our towing assessment and comparison. We're climbing a moderate grade. Checking the side view mirror. Trailer looks really stable, feels stable, no issues so far. And we're gonna give it a good long rundown here and a good shakeout. No excessive sway in the play. I have one finger on the wheel. No vibration. It's not trying to wander on me. The shocks are doing their job, as well as the entire steering system, but we're just assessing the shock and ride quality at this point in time. Across the railroad tracks, no issues there, no extra bumps, super stable, barely noticed it was there. All right, so we just got done with the comparison portion for the air suspension LR3, pulling the trailer, both off-road and on-road. It did wonderful. I could barely notice it was behind me. The engine power is not the issue though, what we're looking at. The stability and the ride quality was amazing. We were going over undulations. We went over a couple different kinds of unimproved roads, handled marvelously. Cornering was great. Never was any excessive lean. On the highway, very balanced, stable. At speed, 50, 60 miles an hour, we hit some cattle grates, went over railroad tracks. Nothing. Again, could barely notice the trailer was there and pulled it really, really well. We're now switching to the coil sprung LR3. We're going to take a measurement and see where it's sitting and just see if there's any sag factor after we hook up. We're at the center of the hub. We're coming up. It's just past 20 inches and 1/8. Call it right there. All right. Now we're going to hook up and see where she sits. So we're going to get our handy dandy tape measure. We just load the weight of the trailer on and we'll see where she sits. Right there, and we are at 19 1/4. 19 1/4 is it. So we've sagged 3/4 of an inch. Just over 3/4 of an inch. Not bad, that's pretty acceptable. 3,500 pounds. If we were at max tow capacity, 7,700 pounds for this, you know, noticeably it would be sitting a bit lower. Well, it's time to see how she drives. All right, we've done our brake check. We're good to go. I'm in the coil sprung LR3, and off we go. Already a little bit more bounce. We're just in a gravel parking lot, pulling onto the pavement first. I do notice it a bit more. Already just a little bit of a bounce just from going from that uneven gravel lot. I'm on the pavement now. Accelerating even smooth, going over a cattle grate. Okay, can you all see that? It was kind of pronounced. We have railroad tracks coming up ahead right now. I'm at 35 miles an hour, hitting the tracks. Whoa, a lot different. It does not handle it as well as the LR3 with the air suspension. When you bring the window up, hopefully the wind noise wasn't too bad. I just went over a cattle grate and railroad tracks, and there was a bit of a bounce. All right, on the highway, different highway with the coil sprung LR3. Ride's generally stable, but overall doing very, very well on the highway. And it's even getting quite windy out here. It's been pretty windy out the last couple days here in Moab. But there's no noticeable sway or body roll with the coils, moreover than the air suspension. 55 miles an hour on the highway right now. Okay, so we're taking video from us going over the railroad tracks and over the cattle grate. It wasn't even an issue or something we were thinking about with the air suspension, but I had a noticeable bounce with it with the coil suspension. There we go. Oh, here's the cattle grate. I think he's going to be able to catch that. Okay. But as I went over both, there's a noticeable bounce, more so than the air suspension had and the other LR3. We are at 65 miles an hour on the highway. There is a little bit of body roll on more so than the air suspension had right now. The road's not the best quality, and I think it's those imperfections that's allowing the coil spring to have some body roll moreover than the air suspension. It's not bad, but it's just not as confident and as stable as it was with the air ride. All right, we're coming up on our off-road turn, so we're going to be taking it from the pavement onto the dirt and doing our off-road portion here with the coil springs. Going over another grate. Not too big of a deal at the lower speeds. That was only about 10 to 12 miles an hour. Okay, initial ride quality is it's more bumpy and disturbing than with the air suspension, is what it is. At about 25 miles an hour, I just feel the ground vibrations more so than I did in the air suspension. All right, cornering. That one was fine, no big deal there. Still 25. I feel like I'm losing the end a little bit. Taking a corner at 25 again. Yeah, wandered a bit out on me. All right, took it back down. I'm 10, 15 miles an hour. And this is a road you'd be creeping along. I'm bringing the speed up to see where I see some of these differences. It's seeming like both on-road and off-road, anything that's noticeable is really at the higher speeds, which is to say about over 20 miles an hour. And that's when you're hitting just imperfections in the road, bridge abutments, the cattle guards, the railroad tracks. You're just getting a little bit of sway and bounce and rebound, more so than we had with the air suspension. I'm taking this unimproved gravel road at about 15 miles an hour, and I'm doing the same variations that I did with both, with the air and the coil. Same speed variances in the same sections of road. It's great. When I was at 15 in the air, it was great. When I'm at 15 right now in the coil, it's great. I had taken the air up to 25 and 30 in sections. When I've gone 25 or 30 with the coil, it worked just fine, but again, there's just more sway and more bounce and rebounds. Never out of control, never an issue, just not as great for ride quality. But it's still a very enjoyable ride, still very confident feeling, the handling is still there. We're in a washboard section of the road right now. Definitely a little bit more vibrations than the air suspension. It's been a standard right now with the towing. I think just the additional compression weighing down on the rear allows us to feel a little bit more of those vibrations. Descending down a steep and windy section right now. I think Aaron's catching some of this on the drone, and some harder rock slabs that we're going over as well. Handling is just fun. Some bigger rock slabs is that section where they were 6 or 8 inches high. We're going over. Body roll's not that bad. It's okay. We wrapped up the road test here with the Coil sprung LR3. Ride quality was not bad overall. However, it wasn't as good. It wasn't as firm as the air suspension. And I have to say the air suspension won out on this one. All right. I wasn't really surprised, were you? The winner for towing, air. It is tough to beat that air suspension and what it can tow and equalize. So, air has edged out Coil 5-4. The Land Rover LR3 with the stock air suspension has been the winner in our comparison series. It's been an amazing experience for us to be able to compare these vehicles side by side in all the different terrains that we've been going through. Overland, cargo, sand, highway, rocks, water fording, and towing.
As you've seen, both of these suspensions are great, and it really just depends on what's best for your lifestyle. It's been a pleasure to share these amazing vehicles with you and highlight what military mobility does to improve the lives of veterans in need.
We hope you've enjoyed our series. Land Rover owners, please let us know what you think down in the comments. Let us know what you want to see next. We're happy to take these vehicles anywhere and everywhere. You know we're not scared. Thanks so much for tuning in. Please subscribe. Look forward to seeing you again. Thank you. Calling all Land Rover owners. Military Mobility is hosting our Land Rover Essential Training Course in Moab. We'll be covering advanced driving techniques, vehicle recovery, navigation, life-saving field medicine, and bush mechanic skills. You will work as a team to complete adventure challenges and overcome obstacles. You'll be trained by Land Rover driving instructors, Camel Trophy participants, and military special operations personnel from all branches. Any level of vehicles and experience are welcome, from stock to locked. Go to militarymobility.com to reserve your spot. Military Mobility is a 501c3 nonprofit that specializes in expeditions and training. Your participation will save a life that has pledged to save yours. We're not doing anything wrong, we're just not doing it right.